Talking with Jerry Winter, class of 1972 at Turkey Valley, and really one of the finest, if not the finest athlete to ever be at the school. Was actually a 4-year starter, I think, in baseball, and also on the varsity for football and basketball all 4 years. I noticed your picture was in the yearbook for 1969. This morning, I went back and looked through that, Jerry. I mean, that's quite an accomplishment, being on varsity in 3 sports for 4 years. Now, when you look back on those years, now 40 years and more later, what do you think of the most?
Well, Randy, I just consider myself to be very fortunate to be growing up in Turkey Valley at that time. It was a wonderful era, had a lot of great teammates, and I guess what I think back about, baseball was always kind of my favorite sport, but the football and basketball years were a lot of fun also. I just remember we had great teams and great teammates, and the coaching was excellent, and it was just a lot of fun.
And baseball definitely was your number one sport, Jerry. I mean, some of the things you did in baseball are remarkable. All-time records, really, not only for Turkey Valley, but really in the state of Iowa. I mean, I'll share some of this with the folks out there. You may or may not be aware of this. You still have the 5th and 9th best ERAs for a season in the history of baseball in the state of Iowa. You're the only guy, of course, in the top 10 twice. 0.20 in 1972, 0.24 in 1971. Remarkable ERAs for baseball. You'll see softball ERAs sometimes like that. But not only that, you won 19 games in 1971, 19-2. Only 16 guys ever won more games in a single season than you. 8 of them were from Decorah. You know, Olmzak used to like to throw those guys till their arms fell off. So your accomplishments on the baseball diamond, definitely as a pitcher, all-time best at Turkey Valley. But not only that, you're right up there with anybody who ever played in the state of Iowa all time. I mean, it's just a remarkable looking back at some of this for me. And what do you attribute all that to? I mean, those are great numbers.
Well, Randy, that's nice of you to mention all those things. And to be honest with you, I never kept records. I don't have any records at home. But over the years with the internet and everything, there's a lot of younger people, especially in my son's class, that started to look at the websites, and they'd run across your name, and it was always, it was pretty gratifying to get a phone call or something, or like you just mentioned. But really, to be real honest with you, what I tell a lot of people with young kids that are playing baseball, I think the thing that probably helped me the most was I grew up next door to the Timlin family, and there were 5 boys. And when I was little, I'd stand and wait for them to miss the ball and run and get it. And then they started to teach me how to throw, and I played catch. And I'll just sum it up very quickly. I think long catch is the secret to having a strong arm. And actually, you mentioned Coach Olmzak, and I know they practice long catch over there. I think that's something that a lot of baseball people don't understand, is lengthening the arm. And I'm talking about playing 200, 250-foot catch and trying to throw the ball on the line, and then that just translated into bringing that into the in the pitching, and obviously mechanics, and some people are blessed with a little better free arm than others, and things just worked out for me, and I was very fortunate.
So you were playing long catch way back then as a kid?
Oh, exactly.
You were, okay.
Oh, yeah. That's, I was thinking about this the other day, the way kids move about the country now, they go all over the place all the time. We didn't do anything in Lawler except drive around on our bikes.
Right.
But we did 2 things. We worked, and we drove around on our bikes, and we played catch. We played football. We played basketball. Tom Breese's dad had a hoop on the creamery. I mean, there's just different things like that, and we had access to Junco Park back then anytime we wanted to, and then we called the other park up by the lumberyard, and that's what we did, is we played baseball, and it was not just 9 and 10-year-olds together. It was everybody in town, and you fended for yourself. I was fortunate. There was a lot of good athletes that were older than me in Lawler, and they were always, willing to have a pickup game. And that's another thing that I think that we've lost in the society is kids get grouped up, and the 9-year-olds play with the 9s and the 10s with the 10s,
right,
which is all fine and good. But just the idea of going out and playing a pickup game and the instincts that creates, I think that's what's missing sometimes with the way society has evolved. And for instance, in Cedar Rapids, that's impossible anymore. Kids just can't run about freely like we used to. But that's all I remember doing is just driving around. You always had your glove on your handlebars.
Right.
And we played catch all the time. And I firmly believe that long catch is a success. I translated that into when my son was growing up, and he had a very, very good arm until he had a football injury that separated his throwing shoulder. And he still throws well, but I think that helped him, and that's what I taught the kids when I was coaching younger guys around here.
Well, let's get back to the Turkey Valley career. You played on some really good baseball. Well, all your teams were pretty good, actually, but the baseball team back in 1971 went all the way to the state finals. Lost to Davenport Central 6-2, a game played in Mason City. That was a spring tournament, and Davenport Central, you may or may not recall this, that was their third title in a row. And I think that was probably the largest school in the state of Iowa at that time. So finishing second in the state, you'd always rather win it, I'm sure, but that's a heck of an accomplishment, not only for you, but for the team.
Yeah, that was an excellent little run that we put together there. And Randy, to be honest with you, at the time, I had no idea that Central had won 2 previous championships. Again, talking about internet and, the way the world has changed and everything. But that was an unclassified tournament. And like you said, they were one of the largest schools in the state of Iowa, if not the largest. And they were very good. And, yeah, we had a good ball game against Our Lady OLGCF for Fonda, and we beat them and then moved into the final. And like you said, we came up a little short in that one. But the first win was good, and we moved on.
And that, of course, was your junior year. Then your senior year, I think you had some arm trouble or something early on in the season. You didn't pitch only about half as many innings, I noticed from the record book here. So what was going? Didn't you have one of the top-ranked teams in the state at that time?
I think we did, and this is terrible to say, and maybe it was selective memory, but I don't even remember who beat us for sure. My good friend Tom Brees has got a lot better recall.
Okay.
I tried to get a hold of him this week, and I think he's on vacation. I was going to try to have that figured out. I'm guessing it was either MFL or Decorah.
I believe it was MFL. If I'm not mistaken, from some of the things I looked up here, they had a heck of a program going at that time, but baseball certainly was your sport as you earned a scholarship, went on to Iowa State, and had a good run there as well, Jerry, right?
Yeah, Iowa State, again, was very good to me. A great group of teammates. Unfortunately, at the time, our team was never really that good. We had a couple good runs in there, but overall, I had my opportunities down there. I pitched all 4 years. I did have some serious arm trouble my junior year. I tore a tendon in my elbow. This, again, is back before all the procedures and really the preventative things and everything when you look at how the game's played today. But it was a lot of fun, and I actually had the opportunity to be a position player down there, too, which in today's world, you're pretty much, if you're a pitcher, you're a pitcher. So it was a good run, and I had a couple of great coaches down there, Cap Tim and Claire Ryerson, and a lot of good teammates.
That's part one of our interview with Jerry Winter, talking about his days at Turkey Valley and his career as a baseball player at Iowa State University. And upcoming on the other video, if you haven't listened to it yet, Jerry will be talking about the potential of a professional baseball career, which was going through his mind at that time, and how that all ended, plus what he's done as a volunteer and other things since his career as an athlete has ended. So go over to pick up on that on the Jerry Winter interview, being brought to you by the Farmers Mill in Proudhaven and John Cuvalier of Insurance Associates of Lawler.